Down it goes, in towards Billy Byrne with his first touch. Can he score? Substitution!
Hello and welcome to the Hurling Podcast's final fantasy hurling tips video. In the final stretch, Ben, last transfer window, are you happy with how it's going so far?
I'm happy with my improvement now. I'm top 10 in the Nicky Racker League, number 2 in Wexford. So I'm going okay, but still believe there's places to be got.
Yeah, well, there's certainly places to be got for me. I'm not so happy, and I suppose that's where we'll start and have a look at our teams. Okay, we can start with my little bit of a disaster of a team. The last week got 69 points. Didn't have too many. I thought I'd be doing okay. I had 3 Wexford and the manager. I had a Wexford captain, and then I had 3 Galway and Tony Kelly. But I don't think very many people had a great week, but I certainly didn't. Only the couple of points for Conor McDonald, which was disappointing. He was an unfortunate choice for captain. I think from the start it was a little bit playing with my heart there, rather than
big
my
gamble.
head. It was a gamble. Yeah, I mean the Wexford in general. The fact that I had loaded up on Wexford and with the Wexford manager, it was a gamble. It nearly paid off in terms of the Wexford numbers, but then like Rory O'Connor gone after 16 minutes, and Conor Mack blanked. Paddy Foley only the 1 point, and Garry Egan only got the 2 points, and now I've got a lot of fires to put out because I already had Callum Lyons and James Madden that were gone, and then adding to that, the other kind of risk I took was Cian Kenny in instead of Cathal. I was thinking about Cathal O'Neill or Darragh Fitzgibbon, and out of the 3 of them, Cian was the wrong one because he was whipped off early enough in that in the Leinster final. So yeah, I've got plenty of work to do, but not much to play for. So I think the more interesting team, as you said, Ben, is your own. Ben's Bold Boys. Talk us through it.
Well, I reckon, I'm looking at, I have 3 Limerick players already, so I can only get in 1 more. So if you look at my 6 forwards there, it's obviously going to be Conor Lehane and Rory O'Connor because they don't have games. So I'm looking most likely to get in Seamus Flanagan right now. I could look at Tom Morrissey or Garrod Hegarty. They're possibilities, but it's probably going to be Seamus Flanagan. And possibly one other then as well.
It's a toss-up with the Limerick forwards, really, because they all kind of... if one of them doesn't perform, the other one could pop up with 6 or 8 points, as Flanagan did. Next day it could be Tom Morrissey. Garrod Hegarty is maybe a bit more consistent, but it's hard to know where to go with those. Would you have any consideration? Obviously, it's going to cost a transfer, but Nicky Quaid is not going to get you any points in the goal. Would you have any consideration of swapping him out to give you an extra Limerick outfielder, whether it be 2 attackers? You could get Seamus Flanagan and Garrod Hegarty, or you could get in Kyle Hayes.
It's a consideration, but regarding transfers, I'm probably not going to use that as a transfer. I'm looking at, I have TJ there as captain, and I'd be more likely to switch from TJ to probably Aaron Gillan as captain if I was going to use a transfer on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But maybe I will if I have a transfer left over, because I'm definitely looking at bringing in Seamus Flanagan, probably one other forward. I'd be looking at Diarmuid Ryan from Clare to bring him into the backs. There doesn't seem to be great midfield options, really. Mikey Carey from Kilkenny is another good option, I think, in the backs. So possibly, if I did get rid of Nicky Quaid, I could maybe go for a Cathal O'Neill in midfield. But then the worry is that he might not start because Keane Lynch just comes back.
Yeah,
So
it's hard
maybe
to
just
know.
play it safe and leave Nicky Quaid there. I mean, you just want players almost to an extent. Obviously, you want the players who are doing well, but it's kind of foolish in one way to get rid of it. When you have so few players playing, it's kind of foolish in one way to get rid of one of the ones who is actually playing.
Yeah, I know, but he's not going to get many points. Like, probably what a goalkeeper can get a maximum. Like, Nicky doesn't score. Save a penalty, maybe. If he concedes a goal, a few goals, you could get minus points. Not that Limerick concede too many goals. But I suppose, like, for the people watching, and they don't have the same team as you, they don't have the same team as me. Well, the key, I suppose, here is there's 2 semi-finals. There's Limerick against Galway, and there's Kilkenny against Clare. And you want to load up on probably getting 4 players from each of the 2 teams that you think are going to be in the final.
That's kind of it, yeah. Like I'm not sure who's going to win between Kilkenny and Clare, but I'm very confident that Limerick are going to win. So I have 3 Galway already. I won't be getting rid of them, but I'm not getting a 4th.
Yeah.
And I will be getting a 4th Limerick because I think they're going to do the business.
Yeah, well, and your 3rd is in goal, which is not ideal. Yes, you don't know. You just said that you don't know between Clare and Kilkenny, but where would you be leaning towards for that game? And is that going to reflect in your transfers with only the 1 Kilkenny at the moment, albeit your captain, and the 2 Clare?
I don't think I'm going to be leaning transfer-wise towards either of those 2 teams. I'm going to look at who will get points from that game probably, as it's, I suppose I could put all my eggs in one basket, but I'm probably going to get Mikey Carey. He seems to be a good point getter in the backs. I could look in the forwards, and like if I was looking in the forwards at Kilkenny, you'd be looking at Owen Cody again. But in fairness, in the last couple of games, he's been well looked after by whoever's been marking him, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to be leaning towards Clare or Kilkenny. I already have 2 Clare and I have only 1 Kilkenny. So that makes me think I should get a Kilkenny man first. But I'm more leaning the Limerick way, I think. Now, again, you're probably right in saying you should pick the team that you think is going to win, because you get points for the victory, and it's even extra points for the victory in a semi-final.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I say, but then look where I am. So I'm not saying that's I suppose if you do that, but pick the right team, you're golden.
Well, you have to balance it out. You can only pick 4 from each county as well, and as you say yourself, even though Nicky Quaid, we both think that Nicky Quaid is going to get 2 wins and get the points for the wins, you don't think he's a point getter. So if you're looking at it and just getting in a cornerback from Clare because you think Clare are going to win and going to play 2 games, that's not probably the way to go either. You get who you think is going to get the points.
Okay, we'll go have a look at transfers then. So this is my team with my potential transfers done. Bringing in Seamus Flanagan, bringing in TJ Reid, bringing in Mikey Carey, and the 4th, David Fitzgerald, a player I should have had long ago, but didn't. Even getting Kenny the last day, I was tossing up between Keane Kenny, Dara Fitzgibbon, or Cathal O'Neill, and Davy Fitzgerald. Like I had defenders that weren't going to be backs that weren't going to be playing either, and I was thinking I could get in David Fitzgerald, but I thought it was it's too late. He's probably scored most of his points already, but then he hadn't, and in the Munster final he had another massive haul. He didn't do as much against Wexford, only got the 10 points, but Yeah, doing that will give me my 4 Kilkenny and my 4 Limerick, and I think they're going to be the 2 finalists. I've got 3 Galway, not going to get rid of any of those, and I had another transfer. I could have got a 4th Galway, but I think Limerick are more likely to beat Galway than Clare are to beat Kilkenny, so covering myself with David Fitzgerald. The only other option I was thinking is because Keane Kenny mightn't start, as I said, whipped off early the last day, I could look at Cathal O'Neill, but as you were saying, Keane Lynch back could mean his game time is restricted, and there's not many midfield options out there. Like if I go into this now, we can look at Limerick. Cathal O'Neill is their top scorer. Darragh O'Donovan and William O'Donoghue, they're not really point scorers. Kilkenny, like Killian Buckley, Fogarty, Deegan, Leahy came in the last day, but again, none of them are scoring very heavily. Galway, Ronan Glennon, he could come into the team. He was back in the last day, but how much game time is he going to get? David Burke, he could end up centre back. Heard James Scale saying that he thinks he should be centre back if Gerard McInerney is out. I don't think Galway are going to win either, so not really options for me. And then,
as well as Galway not winning, you would have to think that Limerick are probably going to win well. Like I don't think it's going to be a barn burner where both teams rack up a big score. Like I think Limerick are going to win comfortably. Probably, obviously, Conor Whelan will get his few scores because he's that good. But I don't think the other players are going to look quite as good as they normally would.
Yeah, well, Conor Whelan is also going to be very tightly marked because he's really the like he's obviously the main danger. But Galway, I think it's the problem with Galway. They don't have as like Brian Kincannon is a little bit off form. Tom Monaghan, wing forward, Joe Cooney, wing forward. I mean, they play a bit deeper. They do pop up with lots of points. Connor Cooney, centre forward, hasn't been doing massively from play. Like you'd have to think from a Limerick point of view, keeping Conor Whelan quiet, you're as good as there nearly.
You would think so, and he seems to be manhandled every time if you look at it, but he still seems to get the scores.
Yeah, even out on the sidelines.
Like
Brilliant.
He doesn't get too many easy points now.
No, and he'll get manhandled again at the weekend. I'd be fairly confident.
Oh, 100%. But he somehow gets through it.
Yeah, just back to the midfielders, the Clare guys. I mean, you're not expecting to see any of them getting an awful lot of game time either. So, not options. I'd probably just leave Keane Kenny there. Same reason why you would probably leave Nicky Quaid in the goal. He's a number. Points for getting to the final. There's enough of other people that I can get rid of.
Will you change your captain?
Yeah, because Conor McDonald was my captain. So I've got a free go at my captain. And because I'm so far back in all the leagues, I got to take a risk. I don't know what that risk is yet. I have TJ there at the moment. But, I mean, I think Seamus Flanagan is the most likely that I'd go for, because I think most people will be captaining Aaron Gillan or Tony Kelly or TJ. So, maybe Seamus hits another, or maybe I go for Gerard Hegarty there or Tom Marcy and captain them and just hope that they have their day in the sun, which they do usually as well.
I'm thinking of Gillan now, actually, thinking to move it, because I think most people will have their captain on Tony Kelly.
Yeah, I think that's
I don't think there will be very many people. If they have it on Tony Kelly, there'll be very few who will change it from him, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like if I had him as captain, I probably wouldn't change it from him. But so I'm considering now. I have it on TJ, but I'm not going to get rid of TJ, certainly not. But I might take that risk now and move it to Gillan. Like Gillan is a guy who he as good as he is, he does have his off days. Tony Kelly doesn't seem to have them. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I won't be good enough as Flanagan because the free taker thing there is so obvious with Galan.
Yeah. You're in a different situation to me. You are second in Wexford and you're in the top 10 in the Nicky Rackard League, so you have a lot more to play for. You've played a bit more safe. I mean, we'll have a look at the leagues now.
I'm better than you, Garry, but it doesn't mean I'm not hanging on to top spot or anything.
No, but let's see now. This is the Nicky Rackard League. Where is Ben's Bowl Boys? Oh yeah, you're in the top 10. You're a good bit off the top now.
Yeah,
you might have to.
A bit off the top.
I was going to say you might have to focus on Wexford, but you're behind Colin Brown in Wexford, so that'd be a tough one to get to claw back as well. But Ben, just do your best.
Sure, that's all any of us can do.
That's all any of us can do. In the Nicky Rackard League, we have Thomas Lally, who's leading the way, and Colin Brown in second place, who's only 5 points behind. And realistically, I think it could be between these two, as long as they don't mess up big time, because it's a further 51 points back to Luke Walsh in third. So if we go in and have a quick look at...
I hear, Garry, you're no longer the top man in Askamore.
I'm not, no. I've dropped down to second in Askamore, Ben.
Drop down. So top two is okay.
Top two, I want to make sure I stay in the top two, so maybe I can't go too risky, but I'll see if I can claw back Danny Nolan in first spot as well.
How many are in the Askamore League?
Oh, Jesus, I haven't counted.
Oh.
You wouldn't know how many there could be.
I'm just gonna have a check here. Just go into it there actually while you're on it. We'll have a look.
No, I think we were going to have a look at the Toon Army team there now. Thomas Lally's team. Ben.
Right, okay.
Well, if we go back, we can see Danny Nolan with best 15 from Askamore. He's in 14th. He's not too far away from you, Ben.
Yeah, so, can you catch me? I could, yeah.
I could catch you, yeah. Competitive league now, Askamore. So,
Oh, I've heard.
You top in Ferns?
I believe I'm top of Ferns, yeah.
Is there anyone chasing you down?
I am number one in Ferns with the 10 other people. Edward Cullen is the next closest to me. However, I am 138 points ahead of him, so I'm quite okay.
Confident of taking down the Ferns crown then.
Yeah, and just to note, bottom of the list in Ferns is Big Ben Bernie. He's cast adrift there, 932 points. He's not even within 200 points of anyone.
I think we mentioned it last day. He's not watching enough of these videos.
That's exactly it.
Or else he's following my advice, maybe. Yeah, I'm a good bit off Danny now. Danny's 149 points ahead of me, so I'd be doing well. I'd be expecting a lot from Seamus Flanagan as captain if I'm going to catch him. We'll go have a look at Thomas Lally's team, and he's got an obvious transfer to make there, which is getting rid of Killian Doyle. You'd imagine
points early on.
He did indeed. You'd imagine for one of the Limerick lads, he's got Tony Kelly as captain. Interesting then if he keeps him on as captain, or does he go for a Galan? His other transfers then, he's got Darragh Fitzgibbon that he could get rid of, but as we said, there's not many midfield options, so he's sitting pretty enough there. He won't be stuck.
He's doing very well to only have Paddy Foley, Darragh Fitzgibbon, and Killian Doyle who don't have games. So he will make those 3 transfers, and he'll have everyone a full 15 playing.
He'll have a full 15 playing, and he'll be able to cover all bases for the final. Like he needs to get in one player from each team, and he's guaranteed to have his 8 in the final, no matter who wins the 2 semi-finals. So it'll be down to his captain option then for him to have much of a chance of messing up. You know, he's not a Wexford man with only the one Wexford man there.
You would. Very, very disappointing from this man.
Very disappointing. But we will go to the Wexford man, Colin Brown. Now, I think, Ben, we can take a lot of credit for Colin being so high up. He took our advice last week, or in the last episode, and made Tony Kelly the captain. So
I heard that Colin doesn't actually, he just listens to what we say and copies. I don't
You heard
believe he has a thought process of his own.
He's just copying. Well, yeah. That's why he's doing so well, looking at the video. He probably looks at what I'm doing, goes against that, and just takes his advice from you. He has got 3 Wexford men there that he can be getting rid of. Conor Lahan, Reen. So he's got places where he can improve. A lot of the same players.
They both have the same captain, so I'm wondering, is one of them going to take a risk by changing the captain? I reckon not. And they both have the same manager.
Yeah, they're fairly similar teams. I think Colin might have a bit more work to do, but I don't think it's a problem that he's more work to do because, you know, he's got 2 forwards, but it gives him free rein on getting in 2 other forwards. It's never terrible when you you've got loads of options of forwards to bring in. Like, for example, I'm kind of stuck with Keane Kenny in midfield.
But he just needs to bring in a player who scores points and a bit of differentiation that he knows the other guys not going to have.
But that's great advice, Ben. Yeah, bring in a player who scores points.
Yeah, you should have taken that advice.
Yeah, I probably should have. Well, thank you for following our fantasy tips. And if you're a listener to the podcast, thanks for listening to the podcast. This is our last fantasy tips video, but don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. There should be a button down there somewhere. And there's lots of great hurling videos on that, and we'll be uploading lots more. Yeah, where Ben is pointing there. So best luck to you all in your last round of transfers, and we'll be back with more fantasy videos possibly next year for the league.
Thanks for listening. Take care.
Up Wexford.
Down it goes in towards Billy Byrne with his first touch. Can he score?